Okay, we have the FOMC behind us. We have the GDP numbers behind us. We now have the PCE inflation numbers. They were a little bit higher than expected. We expected 2.5, we got 2.6, but there is inflation going up. But you know what? That's now pretty much behind us. I guess we have a little leverage flash behind us, which we got yesterday. I don't know if you guys were watching it during the FOMC, but we got a little bit of a leverage flash all the way down to 115,796. That's behind us. I mean, we have July behind us, and I think we're ready to move into August. And I'm going to show you why I think that there's going to be a massive move in the beginning of August. I think there's going to be a massive move. The move can be either up or down. I'm going to put my money on the move going up, and I'll show you exactly why. I've got some data there. And then I'm going to show you my highest conviction plays for August. There's 2 or 3 tokens or 2 or 3 ecosystems that I'm really excited to play in August. I think that they're going to really perform. In fact, if you look at the bubbles, some of them have already started to perform. So the sooner we can get into the show, the better. So if that sounds good to you and you're not already subscribed, then I don't know what you're waiting for. Let's get the show on the road, guys. Cybernetic in the chat says, annoying that runs always late. It's you guys that are late. I only start when there's at least 500 or 600 people in the chat, and I'm just waiting for you guys. I usually sit here, I drink my water, I play backgammon with the guys. So yeah, the sooner you get here, the sooner we get here. Anyway, today, big show. It's the last day of July. We've got a lot happening today on the markets. I'll show you why I think there's going to be a massive move in August. I'm also going to show you some ecosystems or some tokens that I think are really going to fly in August. And I think we need to move pretty fast because a lot of them are actually starting to fly now. And I don't want you guys to miss out. So before we start, if you haven't already smashed the like button, you know the story. I'm not going to tell it to you again. The more you like, the more alpha I give, the more excited I get. I need as much energy as I can get from you guys. Anyway, let's go into the meat and potatoes. Let's look at what actually happened yesterday. We had the FOMC last night. Bit of a nothing burger. I mean, and pretty much what we expected. We didn't expect rates to go up. The rates didn't go up. The one thing we did know is that there is a dissent. There was a dissent by 2 members of the Fed, which actually believed that rates should have been cut, and they actually dissented to that. So the vote was 9-2 in order of keeping rates unchanged. Pretty much nothing else happened. I mean, Powell was, he was his normal data-driven, calm, collected self. The journalists tried to grill him about his relationship with Trump, but this guy had it waxed. He was so cool and so calm and so collected. And I'd say he was a little bit hawkish, not a lot. I mean, if you look at the forecasts after, let's just see now, after the PCE inflation numbers. So the forecasts are no rate cut again in September, believe it or not. So believe it or not, as we currently stand, no rate cuts in September, 1 rate cut in October, and 1 rate cut in January. So now we're back down to 1 rate cut this year after FOMC. Not only after FOMC, it's also after the PCE inflation numbers. Long story short, there's still inflation. The PCE inflation numbers, which is actually the measure that the Fed looks at, 2.6 instead of 2.5, core PCE 2.8 instead of 2.7. So we've had PCE inflation going up now for 2 months. And I mean, Powell's next time just going to stand up and say, look, guys, there's inflation again. I can't reduce rates. And so that's unfortunately where we're at when it comes to Powell. I don't know if you guys noticed, but really strangely, even though the FOMC was an absolute nothing burger yesterday, if you were on our stream yesterday, you saw that the price just started going down. We were at 118,700. And then the price just started to go down yesterday. Now, I couldn't work out what was causing this price to go down. I looked everywhere. Powell hadn't said anything hawkish at all. The report that came out, the crypto report that came out, there were no bad surprises in the crypto report. In fact, if anything, there were 1 or 2 really good surprises, which we'll talk about in a second. So that didn't do anything. So I kind of wondered, and I kind of said on the stream yesterday, I said, look, I think it was about 116,500. And I was like, guys, this is the bottom here. I really think this thing's going to recover.
Well, so the housing is a special case, right?
What were you saying, Bill?
I think we're going to bounce here.
I was thinking so. I'm calling a bottom, 116, wherever it is. I'm calling a Pico bottom. So yeah, I mean, I kind of realized that there's no reason for this market to actually go down. There wasn't a reason for the market to go down. And that's why I think we're going to bounce. The one stat, and I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but we did have the spreadsheet last night. The one stat is we always go down into FOMC, and then the couple of days after FOMC, we usually go up 3 or 4% on Bitcoin. So I guess now we need to see if we go up 3 or 4% on Bitcoin. We also got the government report yesterday, the big government report on crypto, the big government crypto report. Again, we pretty much heard everything that they had to say. I think the most positive thing about this for me was when Scott Besson said to close, start your crypto companies here, launch your protocols here, hire your workers here, and be glad you did. That was for me the only thing where I was like, wow, okay, these guys are really, really, really serious about crypto. Strangely, the report came out right during the FOMC. Like it is almost like Trump and Powell in this like Cold War. Also, during the FOMC, you've got Trump implementing additional 40% tariffs on Brazil, 50% tariffs on semi-finished copper products. And actually, if you looked at the copper price yesterday during FOMC, it was literally happening while we were live on FOMC. That's what happened to the copper price. So it feels like something's going on in the background here. But I'm glad that everything now is behind us. And we have really all the FOMC is behind us. If the market didn't respond to FOMC, the GDP data, the market didn't respond to GDP data. Market hasn't responded to the earnings. Market hasn't responded to anything. Everything is behind us. And I think we're ready to go into August. Let's quickly look at July. July was an amazing month for ETH. Bitcoin also good. Bitcoin had, I think, 10%. It's not finished yet, 10.68%. ETH, 55% in July. And I think now we can get back to the real business, right? Now it's time to get back to the real business. What is the real business? Well, the real business is Bitcoin still consolidating above this line, needs to break above this trend so we can carry on going up. So that's the first order of business. ETH has to break up above this 4-year downward trend line. That's the order of business. We want this above 3.9. We want to get back to the $4,000. And then as Ben Cowan says, time to have another ETH celebration, ETH all-time high celebration, or ETH 4,800 celebration. That's the next order of business. And I'll show you why I kind of think that we might get this pretty soon. This is the same indicator that told me last time that we're going to get a move in Bitcoin. And it's happening again. And I want to quickly share it with you. And if I'm correct in my assumptions, and I'm correct in the data, I'll show you the data, then I think the next move is up. So the indicator actually can be up or down. So I want to show it to you. So the indicator is the Bollinger Bands. We've spoken about the Bollinger Bands before. Remember, the last time we spoke about the Bollinger Bands was in here when I was away. And Bitcoin started climbing. And I said to you, the Bollinger Bands were super tight. Okay, so now we're back here. And if you look at the Bollinger Bands, so you can see the Bollinger Bands over here. Look how tight the Bollinger Bands is. Here, there's an indicator. This white line is an indicator that shows you how tight the Bollinger Bands are. Look how tight they are. Look how tight they are. They haven't been this tight. Man, I can't even go back enough to see when they were last this tight. When the Bollinger Bands are tight, it means a big move is coming. It means that the volatility is compressed, and it means that there's a big move coming. That's pretty much what happens. Now, the move, as I said, can be up or can be down. So it's not guaranteed that the move is going to be up. What tells me that the move might be up is, first of all, intuition. We're in a bull market. The momentum is kind of up, and I kind of think that the next move is up, but that's not enough. You can't trade on that. Okay, we know that the Bollinger Bands, on the daily have only been this narrow 7 times in history. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, they went up. These two, they went up. This one, they went down. But you see, you're in a downtrend. And in a downtrend, you can expect them to go up, and pretty much here up, right? So generally, this has been up. On top of that, if you look at the Bollinger Bands and you look at how low the Bollinger Band have compressed, generally the recovery is in the direction of the RSI or the stochastic RSI. So what we need to do here is we need to take the Bollinger Bands and we need to, let me just go back here and let's add another indicator. Let's go back to stochastic. So we take the stochastic RSI over here and we look at the direction of the stochastic RSI. The direction of the stochastic RSI is pretty much turning up now. So again, it looks like the move can actually be up. There's no definitive thing when it comes to Bollinger Bands. The other thing that's telling me that the move might actually be up is 9 out of 13 times we went up in August, we never went lower. So if you look at like the August, if you look at 9 out of 12 times or 9 out of 13 times, that we pumped in August, we never went back under that level. You can see it's just been an up. So if you take the 13 years, so starting here, we pumped in August, never went under that level. Here we pumped in August, never went under that level. Here we had a problem. Here we pumped in August, went up. Here we pumped in August, never went under. Here we pumped in August, never went under. These two we were in a down market. Then we went up, and this one we missed. So in general, and again, you can't make all these assumptions. Bang, we pumped in August. And I think for ETH, as Ben Khan says, like this thing's just got to break 4,000. And he said ETH rejected at 4,000 because it never went home. Now ETH has gone home, and now it should break 4,000. Even Ben, he's not the biggest Bitcoin bull or the biggest ETH bull. He's telling us that it's pretty much going that way. A couple of other things. There's been a golden cross in others, and generally in others, the golden cross, I think it's a second golden cross. When you get the second golden cross, the market actually starts to pump. A couple of other pieces of news which may be good for altcoins, specifically for now. There's news that came out literally 2 minutes before the show, which I think is very, very good news. And that is that Circle are adding native USDC to Hyperliquid, which is including the ability to deposit or withdraw, which is probably good for Hyperliquid. Let's quickly just see what Hyperliquid's doing here. Has Hyperliquid, Hype's up in the news, 3.23% on the news, which is quite good for Hype. Some other good news coming. So there was a filing yesterday where the CBOE filed for a generic listing standard for ETFs. Basically, what they filed for was the ability to get an ETF automatically approved in the event that there is a futures ETF listed for at least 6 months. So the new rule allows issuers to be listed on an exchange if the underlying commodity to which the exposure is given has a contract designated on the contract market for 6 months. So also there's going to be a lot of stuff here around staking and basically allowing for staking. So if that actually gets approved, then all of a sudden we could see Solana ETF getting approved. Why? Because it's the futures ETFs currently are Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Those are like the 3 futures ETFs. And so Solana could be the first ETF to get the first of the ETFs to actually get approved, and it could actually get approved with staking. So that's something that we're watching. Again, I don't think this is going to happen quickly, but just showing you all the good momentum that's basically happening under the covers here. So that's that. Let's talk about altcoins. Let's actually go directly into altcoins, because I kind of know that's why you guys are here. No one's here for Bitcoin, and no one's here for my beautiful good looks, and no one's here for my, even though now I'm going to gym and I'm getting quite, apparently I'm getting quite buff. Everyone's commenting at the office. 𝗪𝗓, have you commented?
Not yet.
You have not yet. You will soon. Let's talk about altcoins. And I want to talk a lot about the altcoins that are running. Guys, a lot of these altcoins are in our group. I mean, just have a look here. Athena, we've been calling Athena in front runners for, I'm actually going to take you to front runners and see if I can. Yeah, there's the Athena call. By that time, it was 17% up. We called that one. We called Pump. If you look at this one over here, here we go. Guys, I'm taking a chance here, but I'm loading on Pump. That was at 26.4. Now Pump is the biggest mover. We called Sonic in the group. I mean, our calls in the group have been very, very, very good. But I want to talk to you about specifically some tokens that I have a lot of conviction for in August. And I think tokens that are really going to have a big move in August. And I'm going to show you exactly why I'm saying that. So the first one that I want to talk about the move in August is actually Pump, which I did call in front runners. I called it last week, and I told the guys, load up on front runners on Pump.fun at 26.4 cents. And I want to give you guys my thesis, because I don't think it's too late to get in. Even though Pump had a pumped, and Pump is back at 30 cents, I don't think that it's too late to get in. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't think it's too late to get in. So let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, right now, Pump is not a very liked token. Right now, it's not a very liked token. Right now, their market shares have dropped. I'm not gonna dispute that. Right now, Bonk is very much in the lead. They did do their ICO at $4 billion. It did go up to $7.19 billion, but now it's gone way under the ICO price. And it's trading at the lowest was about 2.3 or 0.023. and now it's trading at about 0.00309. Here's my thesis. There was a pump yesterday. You can see that pump that happened yesterday. And the reason why that pump happened is because of a few things. The first thing is that for the first time, they actually landed up buying 100% of their revenue in buybacks. Okay, so literally, that means they took 100% of their revenue and they bought it in the buybacks. And that's what caused, partially, what caused the green candle. The second thing that happened last night was that there was chatter in one of the Telegram groups. I'm going to try and find you. Let me try and find this for you. I think I've got it. I think one of my researchers actually sent it to me. Here it is. Okay, so there was a message in one of the Telegram groups, which this is the message over here. And what it does, what it alludes to is a breaking update for Pump and Pump Swap programs. Buy instructions on both programs will require 2 additional writable accounts with PDA seeds, Pump program. What they're talking about here is they're talking about understanding the volume from each creator. Now, why would they want to do that? Is because they want to share the fees with the actual creators, right? And so that was another thing that happened yesterday on Pump. The third thing that happened on Pump, which I want to show you, is that 𝗦𝗛𝗢𝗪, who was one of the original investors in Pump, he said, when he saw the 100% burn, he said, just getting started. Pump.fun team focused on token, product, and market share growth, and much more coming along and crew to appeal to both core, community, and investors. Okay, so why am I getting excited here? And in particular, why am I taking the contrarian view when everyone is talking about Bonk and Jupiter? And I admit, like, Bonk has eaten Pump.fun's share. Bonk's got a 56.8% share. Pump's got a 30% share, and Jupiter's got a 5% share. Right? I'll admit that right now Bonk has the majority of the market share, but that's why I actually want to get in, and I'll explain my logic to you. The logic to you why these launchpads are commodities, right? Bonk, Jupiter, Pump, they're commodities. They don't really differentiate themselves. Pretty much anybody can launch a platform, and so you got to ask yourself which platform can remain the most competitive. Bonk has a very strong community. What Pump has that Bonk doesn't have is a few things. The first thing is Pump has money. They've just raised $1 billion and they've got about 800 million or just under $1 billion, which they've collected from fees. They got $2 billion in cash. The second thing that they've got is that they've got, I want to just get the tokenomics. They've got 24% of the tokens, 24% of $3 billion or $4 billion or whatever the number you want to look at. They've got 24% of that, which is available for community initiatives, which the others don't actually have. And so what we're realizing is that as soon as Pump flicks up one of the switches, the price starts to pump. So what's the market telling you? The market's telling you the following. The market's saying to you, look, right now Pump have done nothing. They've bottomed out at 2.3 or whatever it is, and now it's hovering around 3. But every time Pump switches on one of the levers, every time Pump does something, the price of Pump begins to pump, right? And so the market's basically saying to you that we know that they have multiple levers that they can actually pull. Number 1, they can start rewarding creators. Number 2, they can do an airdrop. Number 3, they can do revenue sharing. They can do a whole lot of things which their competitors can't really do. And the reason why the competitors can't really do is because they just don't have the tokens, right? Pump's got money, which means that if they want to do 100% burn, they can do 100% burn. Bonk can't do 100% burn. They can do a couple of percent burn. Jupiter can't do 100% burn. They don't have the infrastructure. Pump's got $2 billion. If you got $2 billion, well, you can do whatever you want, right? So number 1, they can implement a bigger burn. Number 2, they can implement rewards. Number 2, they can implement airdrop. Number 3, they can implement airdrop. They can implement revenue sharing. They've got all these levers that they can actually push. So what I think is going to happen? I don't think they're going to just sit there and get beaten up while they're sitting on $2 billion worth of cash and do nothing. And I think what their approach is, as you can see, is that instead of making announcements saying, hey, we're just going to burn 100% of our revenue, what they're going to do is just burn 100% of the revenue. And then the market's going to start realizing that these guys are actually serious. So one of my biggest conviction bets for August, or one of my biggest bets for August, and something where I'm going to build up a real position is I'm going to build a real position on Pump. I'm not buying it here because I don't like buying green candles. Also because I did take a very big position. I did take a very, very, very big position at about 27 cents. And that's actually when I posted it here on Frontrunners with the Frontrunners gang. I do think that I am going to increase that position. It's going to become one of my biggest positions, and I think it's going to explode sometime in August, right? Also, I don't know if you noticed, but when the market went down last night, Pump didn't go down. Let's just go to the 1 hour. Like, there was no big wick in Pump yesterday. It didn't actually go down when everything else went down. And that shows that the market's pretty much expecting something to happen on Pump. So my number one pick for August is definitely Pump. And I never thought I'd ever say this, but here I am saying number one pick for August, definitely Pump. And I think I've told you why. Second pick for August, second high conviction pick for August. And there's one more after this, but I'm contemplating whether I should actually do the last one because it's a little bit irresponsible. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it. So next one, the next one that I'm looking for in August, again, you can see it's just started to have a move here. It's another token which I called in Frontrunners. It's Sonic. Why do I like Sonic so much? Well, actually, before I do Sonic, let's talk about another one. And we'll talk about Sonic in a sec. In fact, let's talk about Sonic. So I like Sonic. Why do I like Sonic? Sonic pretty much hasn't had much of a move. Since they launched, they've just been in build mode. And it looks like they're starting to come out of their shell. You can see the price has been accumulating in this 35 to $30 cent average. It's been going up and down. Let me see if I can find us a much longer term chart. Maybe there's a much longer term chart here. But you can kind of see what this chart actually looks like. It's come from $1. It's all the way back down at 30 cents. And that's pretty much at the lows, right? They're starting to wake up. And the noises they're starting to make are very, very good noises. US, institutional, after the crypto paper has been published. And something... I just can't see these guys sitting back and just watching the bull market go past them. These are the masters of hype. These are the masters of token prices. I don't see these guys just sitting back. So again, I'm adding a big position of Sonic. You can tweet stamp this. I'm adding my position at about 33 just after the show. I'm going to add a little bit of Sonic. Another one, and then we're going to get into the very degen ones where, you know, if you're not a degen, I think you could probably jump off the stream. So another one of my big high conviction altcoin bets for August, and I've said it before, and again, I said it in Frontrunners, is TON. Before I talk about TON, I want to just talk about Frontrunners. So today is as you can see, everything that we talk about happens in Frontrunners. This is where we stay in touch with our community 50 times a day. Whether it's me, whether it's Kapoor, whether it's Irishman, we all stay in touch with our community 50 times a day. It's where the calls come in first. It's very hard for me to bring calls to make a show every time I'm doing something. It's just not practical, right? So where we drop this is we drop this in Frontrunners, which is our private Discord group. Today is the last time that we're going to run the 30-day money-back guarantee. What this means is that if you sign up today, and it's only until the end of today, you got a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not happy after 30 days, you send me a mail and we will refund you your money and you can move on with your lives and you can basically lose nothing. But after today, we're not going to do the 30-day money-back guarantee because we just want to move on. We just want to move on with the community that we have. So if you want to join, that's the link over here. I highly recommend you join and try it for a month. You don't like it, take your money back. I move on, you move on, everybody moves on, and we're all happy. All right, let's talk about TON and why I think TON is one of my highest conviction bets. Number one, I called TON in Frontrunners. Where was this? It was lower. There's so much going on here. Here it is. So I called it at $3.34. It hasn't moved much. It's at $3.52 at the moment. The one thing that you can see is that it hasn't really gone down much since it started the climb. Now, the reason why it started the climb is because there's a new TON treasury vehicle which is launching, like one of these ETH treasury vehicles, one of these other treasury vehicles. There's a new TON treasury vehicle which is pretty much launching at the moment. I think it's going to get announced pretty soon. I think by next week this thing gets announced. And when it does, I think that this is going to bring TON to the US market. Remember, the Americans don't have an opportunity to buy TON. It's not listed on Coinbase. It's not listed on Kraken. There's nowhere that they can buy TON. And TON's a good story. It's like the story of like a billion people distribution. That's a great story. They released their wallet in the US, access to, I think, 80 million people in the US, 87 million people in the US. It's a good story for Wall Street. And the only way that they can invest in this messenger app / ecosystem around it is actually by buying this token and buying it through the treasury vehicle, which will eventually put upward pressure on TON. I think this, when the treasury vehicle goes live, I think that this token starts running. That's pretty much the way I see it. And I think that the announcement's going to come pretty soon. Full disclosure, and I am under NDA. I was on a couple of calls with the team. I can't tell you exactly when it happens, but I can tell you that it is going to happen pretty soon. I mean, it's pretty much what I'm telling you now is pretty public information. It was done over here. All right, that is my 3 high conviction bets for October. For August. I don't want to talk about. I'm torn about whether I should or shouldn't talk about it. And the reason why I don't want to talk about it is because it could be seen as irresponsible, because we have a lot of influence and a lot of people watch the show. But on the other hand, what do I do? Because I actually believe that this ecosystem is going to run, right? So I'm going to avoid talking about specific tokens, and I'm going to just talk about the narrative. And the reason why I'm going to do that is I don't want you guys to get wrecked in very, very, very low income tokens. But I do want to bring your attention to a narrative that's actually running out there. And I think it's important that you understand it. So the narrative is very much around the Launchpad wars, right? And when you look at the Launchpad wars, there are really 3 types or 3 big players in the Launchpad wars, the meme coin Launchpad wars. First one is Bonk, then Pump, and then Dupe. What we know is that recently there's been a Bonk thesis, and the tokens that were launched on the Bonk Launchpad started to run. Things like Useless Coin and a whole lot of others that were launched on the Bonk ecosystem started to run. And that made a lot of people money in the trenches, right? But now there's a new narrative which is emerging, and the new narrative is emerging around Jupiter. And Jupiter and the Jupiter Launchpad. Now, we all know Jupiter, and we all know their whole positioning around cats and the iconography around cats. And they're starting to develop a narrative around tokens, Jupiter Launchpad launched tokens. Now, the majority of these tokens are very, 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 very low tokens, but the biggest token in this narrative is Uranus, right? So, I mean, Uranus, you know what I'm talking about, right? That's got a $60 million market cap. Now, again, the rest of the tokens that I'm showing you, I don't know if they're good tokens or bad tokens at all. I've bought some of them. I'll tell you which ones I've bought. I'm not going to tell you whether they're good or bad. I haven't spoken to the team. I don't know who launched them. All I did was take a small nibble at each one of them. And the reason why I took a small nibble at each one of them was very simple. The market caps are very, 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 very low. I'm willing to lose all my money because I took like dust, and I put dust in there. The thing is, if one of them takes off and becomes another Uranus, then it could go from 500. Someone says, not going to lie, Frontrunner is absolutely amazing though. He knows, he's been in there. So I'm not going to again, when I tell you this, there's no inside information. I'm not going to pump these things. I'm not part of any influencer ring that pumps. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm just showing you the narrative, and the narrative is around Jupiter, and specifically around meme coins and cat coins around Jupiter, because that's the whole Jupiter positioning, right? And so I'm going to show you some of them. So here's one which is very cute, which I think does have meme ability. But again, it's you're talking about stupid market caps, $300,000. So don't go and ape into these things because you'll just push the price up. But this one's called cadets. Hey cadets. That's this one over here. There's another one here, which is called Neptune, catnip, Neptune. Then there is Uranus, we spoke about. There is Meow. This is another one. Also, again, stupid low market caps. Then you've got this priceless one, which is $2.3 million. And then you've got another one, which I looked at, which is this one here called 𝗀𝗶𝗵, right? Again, I'm not going to comment about the individual coins. And I'm actually not even going to tell you which ones of these I actually bought because they're too small. But I want to show you the fact that there is this narrative. And I think that this narrative could actually perform in August. And I don't know if this is your game, if you want to go down into the trenches, someone says aping is what we do. If you want to play that game, and I must be honest, I did I took a couple of grand, like a grand here, a grand there, 5 grand, like small money. And I built small positions in these things. And if they run, they run. And if they don't run, they don't run. And someone says, why are you promoting meme coins? I'm not promoting meme coins at all. I'm just telling you exactly what I'm doing at this part of the cycle. Anyway, those of you who joined it's full now, but those of you who joined the 𝗀𝗏𝗵𝗏 bot, you guys are doing well. 13.46% in 7 days, but it's closed now. How can they allow 202 out of 200 people? They said only 200 people. Now they're saying there's 202 people. Dear Blowfin, please could you kindly remove the 200 people cap off my 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗏 bot so that my community can profit from it. Yours sincerely, Crypto Manran. Please, Blowfin. Blowfin, please. Blowfin. Blowfin. Okay, I mean, they've got a 200-person cap, but keep watching. Right now, this bot's done, in 7 days, done 13.46%. It's accumulating ETH. It's doing really, really, really well. Okay, before we go, just 2 things that you need to know before we go. Number 1, we're back on Bitfunded. Buy one, get one free. Those of you who don't know what Bitfunded is, it's where you trade with other people's money. So how do you do that? Well, you buy a kit, you buy a starter kit, which is either $49 or $99, and then you get $10,000 to play with. You got to pass 2 challenges. The first challenge, you got to get 8% return. Second challenge, you got to get 5% return. Once you do that, on the third challenge, you play with other people's money, and it's real money this time, and you keep 90% of the profits, and Bitfunded keep 10% of the profits. I think it's like the easiest way to make money on an account without using your own money. And if you get wrecked, well, okay, so you don't lose $10,000, you don't lose all your margin, you lose $99. If you buy one today, but you have to, go to bitfunded.com. I don't mind. You can buy whatever you are using any link that you want. Go to bitfunded.com, take out a challenge. If you do, you get one for free. So if you buy a $10,000 challenge, you get a $10,000 for free. Also, last day for the BTCC offer. Basically, you deposit $10,000 you deposit any money you want, and you get a 10% deposit bonus. Simple. This is the best offer I've seen in the whole industry. I don't know. If you don't take, this is like the last day that you can exercise it. So if you want to take advantage of it, I think today is like a really good day to do it. Last day of July. Last day that it's happening. All right, guys. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got an amazing Friday banter. We got Santiago, and we got another guest coming with us tomorrow. Big guest. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.